Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Decide It's Your Best Life mini-series podcast. And today is a good one. You are going to probably want to stop and start this podcast because I am going to be rattling off a few of my absolute favorite resources when it comes to the mindset mastery. I've been doing this for, like close to 15 years, ever since I realized that I had the power to decide it was my turn. And it's funny because now the brand is Decide It's Your Turn. The full-length podcast is Decide It's Your Turn. This is now Decide for Your Best Life podcast. But even before I created the brand of Decide It's Your Turn, I made a decision back when I was like 27 years old that I was going to figure out how to be happy. And when I started that, I didn't even know what self-development was. I didn't even know that personal development was a fucking thing. Like, I didn't grow up with this. I didn't know the power of the mind. I didn't know I could take accountability for my life. I didn't know I could change how I think to create my reality. I didn't know thoughts become things. Like, I didn't know any of this shit. And I know it's the trippiest thing ever because for the last 15 years, all I've been doing is talking about this night and day, 7 days a week. It is my life. It is my career. It is everything to me. But it is the weirdest thing too, because outside of my circle of social media, so if you follow me at Christina on Instagram, or outside of this podcast circle or my client circle, there is so many people that do not even understand personal development. Like, trying to explain personal development or mindset work or self-development or coaching to, I'd say, like at least 80% of the world, people have absolutely no fucking clue. So like, sometimes when I'm trying to explain what I do to people, I'm like, do you know who Tony Robbins or Mel Robbins is? And most people have absolutely no idea. The faint few people are like, yeah, I think my mom used to like watch that when I was a kid or something. But it's like so trippy to me. But I'm so obsessed with this world because it is 100% saved my life and 180'd my life. And so I just want to scream it from the rooftops. But people who do come to me that are interested in self-development and understand the power of the mindset mastery and all of the things, they always ask, like, what should I be listening to? What books can I read? What tools do you have? And I would love to tell you that it is like this elaborate thing on changing your life. And that's the reason why I think that so many people almost like don't do it, because it's like a lot of the tools are so easy. I tell people all the time, what I do on a daily basis is extremely simple. Yet the hard part is actually doing it. Honestly, that's just like anything, right? Like, you want to be a great athlete. It is like the littlest things every single solitary day compounded when no one wants to do them. Getting fit, it's doing the same shit every single day until it's compounded, like eating healthy, working out, like building a business, changing your mindset, like all of the things. None of it is like rocket science in itself. It's just the matter of doing it. And a lot of people give up. But I do want to share, quote unquote, tools, podcasts, books that have helped my journey along the way. And so today is just really like a quick podcast to give you as much information as I can on what has blessed me and something that I learned in Al-Anon. So Al-Anon is a program. It's like AA, but it's for families of addicts. And there's someone in my family who's an addict. So I went to Al-Anon for a few years. And it's so funny because people always ask me, like, what do I have in order to do this? I'm like, well, I have an unbelievable fucking track record in helping myself and helping hundreds of other people's, but there's no diplomas on my wall. However, I have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into coaches and classes and seminars. I've gone to Al-Anon, which I've taken tools from. And something that I always say is like, take what you want and leave with what you don't. Leave what you don't. And that's a little slogan from, AA Al-Anon program is take what you want and leave with what you don't. And so today I am going to be sharing with you resources, tools, podcast, books. Pick and choose, decide which ones you like and decide which ones you don't. And just because they've worked for me may not mean that they'll work for you, but these are a few that I've actually loved. And if you are not on my text message community, text me at 501-222-3362. I'm happy to share even a photo of all of the books that I'm going to mention right now. I've shared that with clients and people on my text community list. I'm happy to do that. Message me on Instagram at @Christina. Happy to share that as well. Anything that I can do resource-wise or point you in a direction that has helped me, I'm always happy to do. So let's get to it. A few books. Let's start with the books. The books that have absolutely been the biggest blessing to me in my self-development mindset journey is number one, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. So money mindset, I'm going to do a podcast on that tomorrow. So come back for that. But Secrets of the Millionaire Mind has been one of my absolute all-time favorite books. I probably read this book like 7 times. I've read it out loud with my husband. My husband and I actually have a millionaire mind board in our bedroom. And you can take what you want from this. You can say that it's negative, but also we've actually changed that board. It is not a millionaire board anymore. It is a billionaire board. Millionaire, fuck that. It's a billionaire board. So my husband wanted it to say, fuck that noise. Millions is fine. Let's do billions. And so it is a billionaire board in our bedroom. So we have our Secrets of the Billionaire Mind board in our bedroom. We live, breathe by this book. So Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, You Are a Badass. That is a Jen Sincero book. And she also has a You Are a Badass at Making Money book that I really like as well. A sales book that I have talked about on my Decide It's Your Turn podcast, my full-length podcast, is Sell It Like Sirhan. That's such a great book. There is a faith-based motivational book that I absolutely love. It's called Chase the Lion by Mark Batterson. Such a great book. Think and Grow Rich. Anything by Napoleon Hill is like one of my favorite books. Napoleon Hill's Master Course book is absolutely fantastic as well. Rich as Fuck by Amanda. Oh my gosh, I'm going to forget her name. Amanda, she's on Instagram, Rich as Fuck. Those of you who know her, she's fantastic. I'm going to think of it in a second. She is wonderful. I followed her for a few years. I didn't know if I liked her. I think she's kind of like take what you want and leave with what you don't. She's definitely transitioned more to like the mommy millionaire now, but I really like her. And her book, Rich as Fuck, is fantastic. There's another faith-based book that I really like. It's called Grit by Angela Duckworth. I think that is amazing. Gifts of Imperfection. I will tell you, when I first got into my mindset journey and my personal development journey, Gifts of Imperfection was probably one of the most impactful books of my whole entire life. It is a Brené Brown book, Gifts of Imperfection. I'm not a huge Brené Brown fan anymore, but that book probably was one of the biggest changers in my life, hands down. So Gifts of Imperfection. Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I think this is an absolutely fantastic personal development book. I think he literally tells amazing stories. So if you've never read it, Matthew McConaughey, Green Lights is great. The last book that I wrote here was the Napoleon Hill Master Course book. My husband is actually reading a book right now that he is raving about. I haven't read it yet. It's called Notes by J.D. Rockefeller, Notes to J.D. Rockefeller's son. So check that one out as well. It could be fantastic, but my husband's loving it. He's raving about it every single morning. So that's just something that my husband and I have done for years, is we both read every morning. I have a devotional that I have read, gosh, so many years, Jesus Calling. If you want a very good, easy, simple devotional, Jesus Calling is one of my favorite devotionals. One of my former clients actually sent me a morning devotional that I absolutely love right now that I'm reading. It's a little bit more in depth. It is called Jewels in the Morning, I believe it's called. It's absolutely fantastic as well. That might be the wrong title, but I don't know what it is 100%. But text me 501-222-3362, and I'm happy to share that devotional with you. A couple podcasts that I really like. The Ed Milet podcast, I always think, is a fantastic podcast for the mindset. Obviously, he's world renowned. He's quite big in this space. He's had some really great guests over the years. Obviously, my Decide It's Your Turn podcast, the full length podcast. I've had unbelievable guests on that show, and I'm so grateful for all of my guests and for having that podcast for over 3 years now. We're adding this Decide It's Your Best Life mini series podcast. So I'm going to promote my own podcast, Decide It's Your Turn podcast, the Alex and Layla Hormozi podcast. So Layla Hormozi has one, and Alex Hormozi has his podcast. I think those are both really good for business as well. Modern Wisdom by Chris Williamson is a podcast that I've really been liking lately. That's a really good one. And then, a podcast that I probably wouldn't have recommended a few years ago because I don't know, but it was big help for me in the beginning stages of my journey. And he's one of the biggest podcasts in the world, is the Lewis Howes School of Greatness podcast. So he has a lot of good guests on there. So those are the podcasts that I'm really enjoying right now. By the way, if you want the fucking funny ass podcast, feel free to text me 501-222-3362 and I'll share some good ones with you. Because, in self-development, it's one of those things that you kind of go in seasons where you're like, I'm really into learning. And then sometimes you just got to back away. And I will tell you, I am not a proponent of always consuming. I'm a big, big, big proponent of taking action and not always consuming. So there's seasons where I'm not consuming and I listen to funny ass shit, and I'm happy to share those with you. Tools that I think are really helpful in the mindset. So I've done the books, the podcast, and here are some tools. Very, very basic. Like I told you in the beginning, none of this shit is really that hard. The only thing is you actually have to do it. And having someone hold you accountable is very, very helpful in helping you work through the mindset blocks. Obviously, that's what I'm the best at. I'll be honest with you. That's why a lot of my clients hire me. But number one, I would say the tools are affirmations and just the belief. And I understand that it's hard in the beginning stages of your journey. You might be like, it's so hard, but please, for the love of God, keep going, because just like anything, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Gratitude will change your life. There is no doubt about it. If I could give you one thing to do for the rest of your life that would absolutely positively change your life, your business, your relationships, everything in your life, it would be to get into gratitude. My husband and I have something we call the 5 things walk. We do it every single solitary day. And even if we're not walking, we say to each other the word 5 things. If you want that, go check out my Instagram. There's a highlight that says 5 things. And there's a video in there that kind of explains to you exactly what the 5 things walk is. It's very, very simple and it works like a charm if you do it, just like anything else. And then I would say, the last tool is to have accountability, have someone hold you accountable, have someone process out what is holding you back, have someone help you figure out what it is that you need in order to get to that next level in life, because life is too short not to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you need a feedback from that, be sure to listen to the podcast. If you need anything extra, feel free to send me a text message. I am an open book and always here to help, and I'll see you tomorrow.